So we're back. Hey, how's everyone doing today? My beard is gray. My name is Trey. Hey, listen. So today, right, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over the third installment of the Cloud Quest series, right? The AWS Cloud Quest series. All right. So today we're just going to be doing some live gameplay, walking through the game, stuff like that, and then actually solving a solution on behalf of our customers. In today's video, we'll be doing the computing solution, right? So let's go ahead and get started with that. All right, so right now, as you see, like we have a diagram, okay? So the first step is in this solution, you can connect to your Amazon EC2 instance in multiple ways, such as using the EC2 Instance Connect from the AWS Management Console, all right? All right, so it says also you can also connect to your EC2 instance by using Session Manager, a capability of AWS Systems Manager. All right, you can configure the instance metadata service and specify commands in the user data field to run after the instance launches. All right, this way you can view metadata details in your web browser. All right, so when it talks about the user data, so basically, when you launch a EC2 instance for the first time, you can go in, configure like what type of operating system do you want to have? Do you want to have a Amazon AMI, Linux 2 operating system? Do you want to have a Windows operating system, right? Do you want it to be, like a specific server, like Oracle or something like that? Do you want to create a Mac instance, right? So you also, with that, you have what's called user data, because like if you're creating a bunch of machines at the same time, human error can take over and you could misconfigure like certain instances to where it could cause problems in the network. You won't be able to talk to each other, whatever. So you have what's called these user data scripts, so that way like you input a script into your machine as you're building it, and then everything will be the same no matter how many machines that you build. So that's a really cool concept that they have, right? So that's what they're looking like. They want to try to get us to do. All right, then it says, hey, EC2 instances are also accessible through SSH clients by using terminal software on your local device. So just a bunch of different ways that we can connect to our EC2 instance. All right, so to meet a greater compute performance need, you can change the EC2 instance size to a larger type. All right, so that's just like, do you want your machine to be more powerful, right? So you want to scale, horizontally. You want to make your machine like, bigger, because it might be a bunch of different things that you might want to accomplish, or you might see like a huge spike in like web traffic or something like that. So you need more processing power, you need more RAM, you need different things that are more memory and stuff like that, right? All right, so you can change these two instance type. So now let's go over to our plan, right? And these are all the things that they want us to accomplish within this lab today. So they say, hey, explore the Amazon EC2 instance types, filter based on their attributes, connect to the EC2 using Amazon Instance Connect. All right, view your instance metadata using the instance public IP address, start and stop an EC2 instance by using the Amazon EC2 console. All right, and then the DYI goal after, right, is saying, hey, after everything is done, we want you to do this on your own. And what we want you to do is change the Amazon EC2 instance type to a larger M4.large general purpose instance. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that. So as the game loads, anyone coming into the live stream, please go ahead and click like. All right, so we can get the message out to the people. Anyone else that wants to see this goodness that we're doing today. All right. So one good thing that you can do, one good thing about this environment, like I've said in the rest of the videos, is that it automatically creates an environment for you. So all we have to do is click on Start Lab and then open the AWS console, and then we'll be able to have an environment that's ready for us to go. Right. So let me see if I can just bring this down just a tad, yeah, so everyone can see. All right. So now, all right, step one, review the practice lab objectives. All right, click start lab, which we've done. All right, good. So now moving on to step two. So now it wants us to go into our EC2 console, right? And click on EC2. So that's what we'll do here. So you can just, it's already right there by recently visited applications. But if you wanted to find it on your own, you just come up into the console and just type EC2. and then you just click on it, right? And then it automatically goes over to like EC2. All right, so now that's the first step. All right, so the second step, it wants us to click on instances. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, I know it's kind of difficult to see right now. So let me see if I can bring it down just a tad or kind of move it over a little bit. I think it'd be better if I just moved it over. All right, there we go. So, and then maybe make it larger. Right, that way all of you can kind of see what's going on. So we come over here to this side and then we click on instances, and then it's going to bring us to our actual instance up here. So if you want to know anything about the instance, right, you just click on here and then you can see like your instance details. You can see your instance ID, right, your public IP address, right, your private IP address, your public DNS information, so on and so forth, right? See kind of like information about your security groups, your IAM, identity access management role, okay? You kind of see some networking details, your subnet, stuff like that. So that's what's in this little tab right here. All right, so now coming over here. Okay, so now it says, oh, we click on instance type. We did that. All right, so now we chose that, right? We click on our details, and then it wants us to review kind of like everything that's going on right here, so that we just did that. All right, so now it wants us to click on instance types, right? In the left navigation pane, click on instance types, go to the next step. The concept behind this is Amazon EC2 provides a wide selection of instance types that belong to different instance families that are optimized to fit different use cases. So the different use cases, right? You have compute optimized, you need more compute power and stuff like that. Or you have what's network optimized, so you need higher network bandwidth, stuff like that. You have storage optimized, right? So you might need to store a lot of persistent data. So you have different instance types within the instance family for all sorts of different use cases. All right, so now it says, hey, it wants us to choose. So it says, hey, under the instance types in the filter box, type the following and press enter after each use case. So let me see, T3, C5 large, and R5. All right, so when we come into instance types, what was that? So I think it was what, T3. So press enter. I don't see anything under T3. Let me see, T3. All right, and then what type of T3 did it? T3 large, C5 large, and R5 large. So T3, we're looking for T3 large, right? And then what was it? C5 large, right? So C5 large, and then what was that again? R5 large, okay? So R5 and then large, okay. All right, so here we go. So we have the instance types at access, and then choose the three boxes next to it, and then go to the next step. All right, so here we have all three boxes clicked. All right, go on to the next step. All right, so for the instance type, review the instance details, scroll down to compare compute, network, and storage, accelerator, and pricing information. Okay, in the left navigation, click the instances. Using the Amazon EC2 console, you can filter instance attributes such as instance type, instance family. All right, so it just wants us like, so what we did, right? So we checked each of these boxes, and now they have a side by side comparison, kind of like telling you everything about them, right? So as you can see, the instance type here is all large, all right, dedicated host is supported on EBS, elastic block storage. Okay, uses all the same architecture, so it has different cores and then different memory types. So as you can see, right, when we come up here, we got R5, C5, T3, and they all have different memory types, right? So this one uses 16 gigs, right? The T3, then the C5 uses 4, R5, all right, uses 8. Oh, sorry, got those backwards. The R5, C5, and T3. So it just uses different type of instance types, right? So they just want us to know the difference. All right, so now, so it wants us to choose this, go back to this EC2 machine that we have, and then now what it wants us to do is it wants us to go ahead and click on that image type. So we'll go back to our instances here. That is already clicked. Okay, and now it wants us to click and copy this public IP address for our instance machine. So we'll go ahead and right here, click on that little icon right there, and that right there just copies whatever this is, right? So we've copied that. All right, so now it says choose the checkbox on the details page on the public IP address. Click the copy icon to copy the provided address. Do not use the open address link. Go to the next step. Okay. So as we go to the next step, it wants us to copy and paste this into a separate browser, which we will do. All right, so we'll just copy and paste that IP address that we just pulled up. All right, and as you can see, we pasted the public IP address of that specific instance, and it's telling us like, hey, the instance ID is this, right? The instance type T2 micro, all right, and it's in available zone US East 1 Alpha, right? Which will always be, right, that North Virginia availability zone. All right, so now as we move on, all right, so in the instance section, click connect. Okay, so this is we're gonna go try to connect to our EC2 instance. Okay, so now we have the four options of connecting to our EC2 instance, which would be instance connect, which would be session manager, SSH client. Okay, so we come back. So now it wants us to go to the session manager. All right, so we'll go ahead and go session manager right there. All right, then review your public IP address. Okay, so with Session Manager, so for Instance Connect, we have our public IP address, which was the same one that we copied right here. Okay, so let's go into click on Session Manager. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Clicked on Session Manager. All right. Instance Connect provides an efficient and secure way to connect to your Linux instance, right? EC2 Instance Connect uses AWS identity and access management policies and principles to control SSH access to your instances, removing the need to share and manage SSH keys. Okay, so you can just connect directly. All right, then it says, hey, click on the SSH client, review the SSH client. Using the session manager, you can manage your EC2 instances through an interactive one-click browser-based shell or through the Linux AWI, the AWS CLI, right? After the session begins, you can run bash commands as you would through any other connection type. Then finally, you have Instance Connect, okay? So note that a key pair is required for Instance Connect, right? All right, so go to Instance Connect and then click on Connect. Then wait for the terminal window to open. So we go to Instance Connect here. All right, and then we click on Connect, and then we'll get another browser that was going to actually pull up our EC2 machine. And then you see when it pulls it up, because this is a private connection, is using that private IP address, right? That I showed all of you earlier. All right. So now what it's saying is, hey, to change the application directory in the command prompt, type cd sample.app. So what we'll do is we'll see if we can just, yep, we'll go ahead and copy and paste. Now we're inside of our machine here, so let me see. So they already have the sample app application that's already brought up. All I did was a ls to list that. So now they want us to cd, which means change directory, all right, into that. So what we'll do is cd sample and then app, and that's going to bring us into this folder. Okay, so you see we have a couple things that's already inside of this folder as well. All right, so now it says, hey, now sample application resides on this instance. To view the files in the sample app, so we change directory into the sample app. Then it says, hey, ls, and then press enter. All right, which we did. And when we did that, you see this stuff right here popped up: compute solutions.log, SciCache requirements.txt, which is just a normal text file. All right, hey Gabrielle, how you doing? Grand Rising as well, Gabrielle. All right, and then so we already did that and press enter. So now it says, hey, if you want to check the instance log, then type. So as you see, it has the tail, so that means we're going to check the last part of that instance log. So let me go over here, do a little copy and paste right here, just for the sake of time, just for the sake of time, just to get this thing right. All right, there we go. So I press enter. All right, and then it shows you some detailed output, of the actual log of what's going on. All right, then press enter. Close the terminal tab to return to the EC2 instance page. So we closing the terminal tab. All right, then we were going back to the EC2 instance page. All right, so now what it wants us to do says, hey, click actions to expand the drop down menu. All right, I'll say, oh, let me take a little time right quick. We got somebody in the house. We got Gabriel. I'll say, I'm taking, I am learning cloud now. Oh, okay. Hey, that's the whole purpose. Hey, Gabriel. Hey, that's the whole purpose of what we're doing right here is, we're just people that's like, beginning their cloud journey or whatever the case. They have a game that you can play. AWS is on the AWS Skill Builder website. It's called AWS Cloud Quest. So as you're studying for certain certifications, like the Certified Cloud Practitioner or the Solutions Architect Associate, right? You can go in and play this game, and it just kind of reinforces and build upon your cloud skills. This also gives people opportunity to go inside the console, right? Because people are not used to like going into these cloud consoles and actually configuring different assets and stuff. So it just gives you a lot of practice. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, Gabriel. Appreciate you. All right, so getting back, we're on step 16 now. All right, so it says, hey, click the action to expand the drop down menu. So we're clicking on the actions tab. All right, and then choose the instance setting, which we're going to go here and do. All right, then we're going to have this box pop out and it's going to say edit user data. So it wants us to edit the user data right now, right? So let's go back to our instance. Then we'll click on here. We'll come over here to the actions tab, right? And then it told us to go to the, what was that, instance setting. All right, and then edit the user data. So like I mentioned to everyone earlier, the user data is just a script that you can put into your machine. You can put it in there before you actually build it out, and what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that all the necessary applications are downloaded to your specific device. And if you write the script, like if you wanted to launch 100 machines at one time, you could just go ahead and launch your machines and put this script in, and then every single machine would be exactly the same. So that's the cool part about the user data script. All right, so hey, we clicked on that, edit user data. All right, and now it wants us to come here. Okay, so we came here. I said under current user data, review the commands. Click cancel, go to the next step. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. So it says click cancel. All right, and then go to the next step. All right. For those of y'all that's coming in to the live stream, please click like on the video. Don't forget to click like on the video. Share the broadcast. Share the video with others. All right. It only helps us out. Get the message out to the people. All right. So look, in the left navigation pane, click on instances. All right. We're going to go to instance. Go to instances. Click on instance, and then click on stop instance. Right. So that's what they want us to do here. So we're going to click on instance state, and then we're going to stop our instance, right? We're going to stop our instance, okay? Click on choose that. All right, so in the instance section, choose stop instance, go to the next step. Using the instance state drop-down menu, you can place an instance into different states. You can start, stop instance if it has an Amazon Elastic Block Store, which is the storage volume, right, as the root device. Click on stop, which we already did. Okay, go to the next step. All right, so look on the details tab. So it wants us to click back on there. Now you see under the instance state right here, right under the instance state, all right, it says that the instance is stopped. Okay, so now it wants us to review the information. So then as you can see, now that we have stopped our instance, what automatically happens to a stop instance? That public IP address will automatically drop off, right? The only way that you can maintain the same public IP address for EC2 instance is if you have an elastic instance, right? But that will incur some curse. Then that would incur some cost. I'm sorry. Then, right, your public DNS will all change. The only thing that will always stay the same is this private IP address right here. Okay, so just make sure that you always keep that in mind. So look on the details tab, after the instance state change to stop, review the public IP address and DNS. They both should be empty. Okay. Then it's going to tell us about what I just spoke about. Hey, the concept. Each time that you start a stopped instance, AWS charges a minimum of 1 minute for the use of per second billing instances. After 1 minute, AWS charges only for the seconds that you use. So this is some good billing information, right? Because like when you take the certified cloud practitioner exam, everyone, you're going to have to know about billing information. So that's very good. Also, we have another question from Gabriel. Okay, does it help to learn Python as well? Yes, it does help. Like, so when you come into like cloud computing, right? There's different sections and different levels that you're going to have to know, right? So, number one, you're going to have to know about the cloud console, which is what we're going over today. But it doesn't stop there. Like, you're going to have to know about Linux, right? You're going to have a good foundation about Linux because a lot of other technologies are going to build upon Linux, right? So just like for instance, right now I'm learning about Docker, and Docker really builds upon Linux. So some of the same commands, some of the same concepts, stuff like that, right? Now, when it comes to like Python, Python would be like a coding language, right? So if you wanted to work as like a software engineer, right, within the cloud, then you would need to know a lot about Python scripting and programming stuff like that. Or like if you were like myself, a cloud support engineer, you're going to have to be able to read Python code to be able to see like if something's wrong, if a customer shows you something, maybe they inputted a wrong command or something like that. You're definitely going to have to read and be able to decipher Python code. So yes, to answer Gabriel's question, Python is definitely something that you need to learn. I would just say if you're going to pick a coding language, just pick one, whichever it's going to be. So if you want to do JavaScript, right? If you want to do Python, if you want to do Go, right? Whatever you're going to learn, just learn that one language, as much as possible. That way you are a subject matter expert in that specific language. So if that's Python is your language, learn Python, right? But just if you're going to go the coding route, like the software development, software engineer route, then yes, you must learn a programming language. So whichever one you choose to learn, whether it be for front end web applications or whether it be, HTML, CSS, or whether it be for something like, mobile apps or something like that, where you're learning like Swift or something, you just need to make sure that you learn one, stick to it. All right. But hey, getting back on to the solution, right? All right, so now it says, okay, we went ahead and review. So stops, changes, stop, review the public IP address and DNS. They both should be empty. Go to the next step. All right, so each time you start, yeah, that's what we just talked about, that billing information. Okay, so now as we come back in here, all right, so now what it wants us to do is it wants us to change the actual instance type. All right, it wants us to change the actual instance type. All right, so now it's saying, hey, click the actions to expand the drop down menu. Okay, so once you do that, choose instance settings, review the available options. You have different options to change your instance, such as type, termination protection, and shutdown behavior. Go to the next step. Let me see. All right, so concept. You must stop your Amazon EBS back instance before you can change the instance type. Plan for downtime while your instance is stopped. Stopping the instance and changing its instance type might take a few minutes, and restarting your instance might take a variable amount of time depending on the application startup scripts. All right. So what it wants us to do is to go to the Actions tab, choose the instance settings. All right, then review change instance type, and it looks like change resource based name options. All right, so number one, instance type. Let me go back here because it look like it. Let me see. All right, so Yep. Setting and then review. So it didn't say change anything. So I think we can move on. All right. So now click on instance state to expand the drop down menu. All right. And then choose start instance and go to the next step. After we started, okay, got it. So there we go. So it wants us to go ahead and restart our instance. So excuse me. So instance settings. All right, so now we're coming in so we know where to go next time, right? When we're actually doing this. All right, we know exactly where to go. All right, cool. All right, so now let's go back real quick. All right, so there we go. So when it goes to our instance is currently running, so we didn't really stop it. So instance state is running again. Everything is good. All right. So now that we see the instance is running, and now it has that same public IP address. Okay, everything is good right there. All right, so now it says, hey, we've completed the practice section. Now it wants us to go to the DIY section, right? The do-it-yourself section. So let's go ahead and go over there. All right, so now what does it want us to do? It wants us to change the Amazon instance type to a larger M.4 large general purpose instance. Okay, and then once we do that, we will copy and paste our instance ID into this little tab, and then the system will validate to see if we have completely, solved the solution. All right. Great. So Sake Phase MD says great information for all of us who are aspiring to do clouds. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're just trying to make it easier for everyone to come in, and see exactly what type of stuff that you have to learn. That's why, I encourage everyone to play this game. The link is in the description of this video. So just make sure that y'all, if you want to learn more about cloud computing, then you can play this game and you will learn something. If you play this game, you will learn something. All right, so let's go ahead and solve our solution right here. So we want to stop our instance. It's going to ask us, do we want to stop? We want to say yes, we actually do. So now the instance is stopped. So once we do that, right, now we want to change our instance type. So we want to change our instance type. I believe they asked us for a M4 large, right? So come down here to the M family, M4 large. All right, let me double check and verify. Change it to the M4 large. Yep, that's what they're asking for. So we're changing it and we're applying it. Now our instance type is now an M4 large, right? Now remember what they said. You must, and if you want to change your instance type, you must always stop the instance first. You can't just change it on the fly, like increase memory, CPU, RAM. You have to change your instance type before you actually deploy it, right? All right, so now that we've done that, now we want to run, we want to go back and start our instance. So we'll just start it, okay? And it says, hey, successfully started. So, depending on how long that takes. All right, so now it's pending. All right, so hey, if anyone is in the broadcast, please make sure that you click like on the video. We want to get the message out to the people, so we can reach many people as possible. Also, if you're joining the broadcast and you're interested in cloud computing, make sure that you go on my page and check out my other videos. Right, I have all type of videos, where I talk about cloud computing, talk about how I got into the industry. I show like the education path that I took. Everything like you can pretty much see everything about Trey. I'm an open book. You see that I also served in the military, right? So I just really retired from the military, and this is my first job after leaving the military, which is working for AWS as a cloud support engineer. All right, so hey, now that we've come back, our instance is started, is running. Everything looks healthy. As you can see, we have a new public IP address and we have a new DNS. We also have a new the instance ID, right? So now I'm not gonna say that's new. So now let me go ahead and copy and paste this instance ID in here and validate to see if our solution, actually works or there's something in there that we need to go back and change. So the system right now is validating it, and hey, voila, what does it say? Oh, hey, you did it, right? We found the EC2 instance type for M4.large. Now you can return to the city and give the customer the good news. All right. Sake Phase MD says, "Hey, salute. Thank you for your service. Hey, thank you for your support. All right, appreciate you." All right. So now let's go ahead. We've solved the solution for the customer. All right. So now we can go back, and then the customer is just going to say, "Wow, hey, our application is running as planned now." All right. Then hey, I'm glad to be of service. Here's your reward. All right. So now, like, that's a good thing about this game too. When you're playing the game, right, it wants you after you solve a solution, right? It said you get to pick of how the city is going to be built. So I'm gonna ask all my people in the chat real quick. Which one would you go with? Would you guys go with option one? All right. Would you go with option two, the bigger basketball court and the court this way, or would you want to go with the castle or whatever the case? The first person to chime in, that's what option I'm gonna go with. So whether it's option one, with the see basketball court right here, another basketball court to the side, option two right here, or option three. I think I'm gonna go with option two. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and collect option two. Yes. So I see Sake Phase MD is asking, I can sign on to this. Can you sign on to this website? Yes. So let me go ahead. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy. All right. So I'm gonna copy the website and I'm gonna post it. Oh, it's asking me to sign into the chat. I don't know. Let me see if I can post this real quick. Let me bring this out here. Bring this over here real quick. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna copy this link into the chat. Just give me 1 second, real quick, because it's asking me to sign into the videos. So right now, so I'm signing in, and then I'm just gonna I- I'm gonna copy and paste. Let me show more. Okay, hey, so look, I'm looking at the actual the description of the video, right? So at the very where it says down below, right, it says, hey, I'm gonna bring it up here so I can show everyone on the screen. All right, so if you look right here, this last link, this is the actual link to go onto this website, sign up for the game. What it is you create an AWS account, and then you sign into the game, and then you can just start playing it, right? So you should choose the easiest option at first, right? So the easiest option is going to be the cloud certified practitioner. That's the beginning level or the beginning phase, that you want to go to. So as you'll see right here where it says cloud practitioner, after you signed in and everything like that, you'll come over here, and this is like the building block. So like whenever you are coming on and you want to go into cloud computing, like every cloud service has their beginning level certification. So I know for Amazon, excuse me, for Microsoft, right, it's the AZ900. And those of y'all, I'm not sure if any one of you that's on the live stream right now, if you're actually like familiar with my channel. So let me go ahead and pull up my channel real quick. And then I'll show you. So I have all type of videos, talking about IT and stuff like that. But I'm trying to look for. Oh, I probably should have just did a search right here. So this video right here is the AZ900. So that's for Microsoft. Okay, so that's Microsoft's fundamental exam for people who are starting their cloud computing journey with Microsoft Azure. So when I first started studying for the cloud, I started with Microsoft Azure, right? Like that's just the first test that like I ever took. And then once I got hired by AWS, then that's when I went and did the cloud practitioner, right? Which I'm kind of showing all of you today. So the cloud practitioner, the certified cloud practitioner exam, All right, this is the fundamental foundational certification for AWS. So, like I mentioned before, if you want to start learning about like AWS, like the services and stuff like that, and everything that they have to offer, this is the one that you should start with, right? So it teaches you, like, if you come down here, you have the learning objectives. All right, it says, hey, articulate the characteristics of the AWS cloud platform, describe the core benefits of AWS products and services, describe the EC2 instance families. See, that's what we were just doing, describing the EC2 instance families. So with this, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna learn so much about cloud, not only cloud computing, but cloud computing on the AWS platform. Because when people say cloud, right, you know, that's kind of like uh, ambiguous, right? People like, okay, cloud, but what exactly is the cloud? For an engineer like myself, right? The cloud for us is the cloud console. Like, we're going to be the ones going in and building these machines, or if you're a software engineer, writing the code, for the back end that allows these applications to function and stuff like that. That's what we're going to be doing. So, that's just to put that out there. So let me say, did you find Microsoft AZ exam prepared you for Amazon? Yes, it absolutely did. Because I'm gonna tell you, this is how, and I'm going to get out of here pretty soon, guys. But yes, studying for the AZ 900 for Amazon absolutely helped me with the foundational exam for AWS, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why is because the cloud is the cloud. Like, all the concepts are exactly the same. They just have different names for the services. So, like for Amazon, for AWS is like storage service, right? They call that Amazon S3, simple storage service. But for Microsoft, they'll call it data lakes, right? So as long as you know that, hey, this is a storage service, all you have to do is learn the name for each other. Like, when you just learn the different concepts of how cloud computing is delivered, whether you have infrastructure as a service, whether you have software as a service, whether you have platform as a service, right? When you start learning those core concepts, they're the same no matter what cloud provider you go to. So whether it's AWS, whether it's Microsoft Azure, whether it's Google Cloud Platform, whether it's Alibaba, it doesn't matter. All the cloud concepts are exactly the same, right? So you have data warehouses, right? You have like streaming applications. You have compute power. So as you study for one, you'll definitely be able to function in other environments. I tell you. Hey, so for everyone that's coming in, please click like on the video. See, find your love and sit. I don't know what that is. All right, but hey, today we was just going over the game. This is another example. I'm going to be doing other videos. This is the third installment of this series right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get off this live stream, so it only be just a few minutes or whatever the case, and then I'm gonna hop right back on and I'm gonna do the next solution. So feel free to join me in my next video where we go through solution 4 of the cloud certified, the AWS Cloud Practitioner role for the Cloud Quest game. All right. So thank you all for tuning in